The olive grove of wisdom. The village and the grove. In the rolling hills of Crete, there was a small village surrounded by vast olive groves. The trees were ancient, their roots twisting deep into the earth, some said to be older than the village itself. At the edge of the grove lived Yiannis, the oldest man in the village. His back was bent, his steps slow, but his eyes sharp as a hawk's missed nothing. Yiannis had tended the olive tree since boyhood, learning every secret of soil, rain, and harvest. The younger farmers, however, thought they no longer needed him. They had modern tools, fertilizers, and new techniques. Yiannis still talks about the moon and the winds, they whispered, laughing. That's old superstition. We have science now. The mayor's plan. One year, the newly elected mayor, ambitious and eager to prove himself, declared, "This year, we will harvest the olives earlier than ever before. With our machines and new methods, we'll beat the other villages to market. We'll earn more money, and Crete will know our name." The young farmers cheered, excited by the promise of quick wealth. Yiannis, leaning on his cane, stepped forward. "Mayor," he said, his voice steady, though soft, "the olives are not ready. If you pick them too soon, the oil will be bitter. Wait for the north wind to pass, then harvest. That is the way of the trees." The mayor smiled politely, but dismissed him. "Yiannis, times have changed. We don't need old tales. We need results. The harvest begins." Against Yiannis's advice, the villagers brought out their machines and began to harvest. Buckets filled quickly with green olives. Spirits were high, songs echoed across the fields, and the mayor boasted of their success. But when the olives were pressed, the oil was harsh and sour. Merchants from the city tasted it and shook their heads. "Too bitter," they said. "This oil cannot be sold." The villagers were stunned. They had worked day and night, and now their profits vanished like mist. Some grew angry, blaming the machines. Others blamed the soil. But Yiannis said nothing. He only continued tending his small corner of the grove, waiting, the elder's secret. As the days passed, Yiannis worked quietly. He looked to the sky, watched the birds, felt the wind on his skin. Then, one crisp morning, he nodded to himself. The time had come. Taking only a basket and his walking stick, Yiannis began to pick olives by hand. A few curious villagers watched. He pressed the olives himself and shared the oil with them. They dipped bread into it, and their eyes widened. The oil was golden, smooth, and rich, unlike the bitter oil from before. "How?" they asked, astonished. Yiannis smiled. "The trees speak, if you learn to listen. They wait for the north wind to pass. I have lived long enough to hear their language." The lesson of the grove. The villagers returned to their groves, this time following Yiannis's timing. Though their harvest was smaller, the oil was of high quality, and merchants gladly paid a fair price. At the next village meeting, the mayor stood before the people. "We were wrong," he admitted. "We thought we knew more than our elder, but it was his wisdom that saved us. From now on, no harvest will begin without Yiannis's word." From that day, the villagers treated Yiannis with the honor he deserved. They realized that their tools and knowledge were powerful, but without the guidance of experience, they could easily fail. And so, under the silver leaves of the olive trees, respect for elders was renewed. Moral of the story: the wisdom of elders, like the roots of an olive tree, runs deep. Ignore it, and the harvest is bitter. Honor it, and the fruits of life will be rich and lasting.